You've seen it before. That dark figure at the edge of your vision. Standing perfectly still in the corner of your bedroom. Watching. When you turn to look directly at it, it vanishes. But you know what you saw. A human-shaped silhouette darker than the surrounding darkness. No features. No face. Just a three-dimensional void in the shape of a person. You're not crazy, and you're definitely not alone. Thousands of people across the world have encountered what paranormal researchers call shadow people. And the most disturbing part? These sightings are increasing at an alarming rate. What are these entities? Where do they come from? And why do so many believe they're watching us? What are shadow people? Shadow people are exactly what their name suggests, human-shaped shadows that appear to have a life of their own. Unlike regular shadows, they aren't created by objects blocking light. These entities exist independently, often spotted in low light conditions but sometimes even in broad daylight. The typical shadow person stands between 5 and 7 feet tall. They appear solid black, not just dark, but a complete absence of light. Most witnesses describe them as three-dimensional voids rather than flat shadows. They move with purpose and intelligence, suggesting some form of consciousness. What makes shadow people different from traditional ghost sightings? Unlike apparitions that might appear translucent or maintain the appearance they had in life, shadow people never show distinguishable features. No clothes, no faces, just a dark silhouette. And unlike many ghost encounters, shadow people rarely interact directly with witnesses. They observe from a distance, creating a sense of being watched rather than haunted. Most disturbing of all? While ghosts are typically tied to specific locations, shadow people have been reported worldwide with remarkably consistent descriptions. From rural farmhouses to urban apartments, from hospitals to ancient castles, these entities appear to move freely throughout our world. Not all shadow people are identical. Witnesses have identified several distinct categories of these entities. The most commonly reported is the Hat Man, a shadow person wearing what appears to be a wide-brimmed hat or fedora. Sometimes described as wearing a long coat, this figure has been witnessed by people across different continents who have never communicated with each other. The consistency in these descriptions is difficult to explain away. Then there are hooded shadows, entities that appear to wear monk-like hoods or cloaks. These figures are often associated with a sense of malevolence, with witnesses reporting intense feelings of dread in their presence. Child shadows take the form of smaller silhouettes, between 2 and 4 feet tall. These are frequently reported in homes with children and sometimes appear to be watching or even playing with toys. Perhaps most terrifying are the red-eyed shadows. While most shadow people have no discernible facial features, a small percentage are reported to have glowing red eyes. These encounters almost always coincide with extreme feelings of terror and sometimes physical effects like temporary paralysis. Many witnesses also report seeing shadow people move in unnatural ways. They don't walk so much as glide. Some appear to move at impossible speeds, while others can seemingly pass through solid objects. When confronted directly, they typically vanish instantly rather than retreating, as if they were never there at all. While modern sightings have increased dramatically since the 1990s, shadow people aren't a new phenomenon. Similar entities appear in folklore across numerous cultures. In Norse mythology, the Svartalfar or Dark Elves were described as humanoid shadows that lived in the realm of Svartalfheim. These beings were feared for their ability to influence dreams and bring illness. Many Native American tribes have traditions involving spirit walkers, shadow-like entities that could travel between the physical and spirit worlds. Some tribes considered these encounters omens of approaching disaster. In Malaysian folklore, the Hantu Bayong literally translates to shadow ghost. These entities were believed to attach themselves to people, following them for days or weeks before causing illness or misfortune. Ancient Egyptian texts reference shadow beings that were thought to be fragments of souls unable to move on to the afterlife. The hieroglyph for shadow was distinct from that for soul or spirit, suggesting they considered these shadow entities a separate phenomenon. What's remarkable about these historical accounts is how closely they align with modern reports. The physical descriptions and behavioral patterns have remained consistent across centuries and cultures that had no contact with each other. Skeptics have proposed several explanations for shadow people sightings. Sleep paralysis is often cited as the culprit. This condition occurs when a person wakes during REM sleep while their body remains paralyzed, a natural mechanism that prevents us from acting out our dreams. During this state, people frequently report seeing dark figures and experiencing intense fear. However, This doesn't explain sightings that occur when people are fully awake and mobile. Neurologists suggest some encounters might result from brief seizures in the temporal lobe, which can cause hallucinations and feelings of a sensed presence. Carbon monoxide poisoning, which can cause visual hallucinations, has also been proposed as an explanation for clusters of sightings in specific buildings. Psychological explanations include pareidolia, our brain's tendency to see patterns, particularly faces and human forms, in random visual information. In dim lighting, ordinary objects might be misinterpreted as human silhouettes. Yet these scientific explanations struggle to account for mass sightings where multiple people report seeing the same entity simultaneously. They also don't explain why these sightings follow such consistent patterns across different populations and time periods. In 2001, late-night radio host Art Bell dedicated an episode of Coast to Coast AM to shadow people. The switchboard was flooded with callers describing nearly identical experiences. This marked a turning point in public awareness of the phenomenon. A 2012 case from Portland, Oregon involved an entire family witnessing the same shadow person over a period of weeks. The entity was repeatedly seen standing at the foot of their 8-year-old daughter's bed. Eventually, they moved homes, only for two neighbors to later report similar sightings. In 2018, staff at a hospital in Arizona documented multiple sightings of a tall shadow person in the hallway outside the ICU. Security cameras showed unexplained power fluctuations coinciding with the sightings, but no visible entity on the footage. Researchers have noted several patterns in these encounters. Shadow people sightings often cluster around areas with high electromagnetic fields or electrical equipment. Witnesses frequently report electronic malfunctions during encounters, watches stopping, lights flickering, phones losing charge. The entities appear most commonly between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., what paranormal investigators call the dead time when the veil between worlds is supposedly thinnest. Perhaps most intriguing, shadow people sightings have increased dramatically worldwide since the late 1990s. Some researchers connect this to the rise in electromagnetic pollution from wireless technology. Others suggest more metaphysical explanations, that these entities have always been present but are becoming more visible or active for unknown reasons. What exactly are shadow people? Theories range from scientific to supernatural. Some parapsychologists believe they represent a previously undocumented form of haunting, not traditional ghosts of the deceased, but imprints of emotional energy left on a location. Others speculate they might be interdimensional travelers, beings from a parallel reality that occasionally crosses over into our own. The fact that they often appear to observe rather than interact supports the idea they might be studying us. More esoteric theories suggest shadow people could be manifestations of negative emotions or thought forms created by collective human consciousness, what occultists call egregores. Some researchers propose a connection to extraterrestrial activity, noting that shadow people sightings sometimes coincide with other unexplained phenomena like strange lights in the sky or lost time experiences. Perhaps most unsettling is the theory that shadow people have always existed alongside humanity, predatory entities that feed on fear or negative energy. According to this perspective, they don't just appear during frightening situations, they actively create those conditions to harvest emotional energy. Whether shadow people represent psychological phenomena, unknown natural processes, or something truly paranormal, one thing remains certain: the experience of seeing one changes people. Many witnesses report becoming more sensitive to other unexplained phenomena after their encounter, as if a door once opened cannot be fully closed. Next time you're alone at night and feel that distinct sensation of being watched, that prickling awareness of another presence in the room, before you turn on the light, ask yourself this: do you actually want to see what's standing in the corner? Because according to thousands of witnesses, once you've seen a shadow person, they don't stop watching you. In fact, acknowledging their presence might be exactly what they've been waiting for all along. And perhaps the most chilling question of all, what if you've already seen one, and simply don't remember?